Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the New Hampshire Business Show. My name is Chris Pastrana, and today we're here with Sean Kendrigan of NewHampshireComputers.com. How's it going?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
Absolutely good. So let's learn a little bit about you, the business, where it all started, and we'll go from there.
Sure. I started in business for myself in 2002, just kind of fixing computers on the side for residential customers, that kind of thing, and put a little ad in the paper, and it just kind of built it from there. And over the years, it's morphed into a small business service for companies. I'm like the IT company for small businesses that aren't large enough to have their own in-house IT. And I also sometimes do work with IT departments within businesses as well. I do some contract work too, short-term contracts with Fortune 500 companies, all kinds of retail companies all over New Hampshire. My basic main focus is the small business from 1 to 50 employees. That seems to be the sweet spot for companies where they're kind of on the cusp of the 50 user spot where they're on the cusp of whether they need their own IT department or not. My focus is on networking, desktop support, security, backups, basically anything that goes wrong within your office with your computer systems, which kind of makes me a generalist in the IT field, because that could encompass anything on any given day. I get calls for my email won't work, my server has broken down, I have a virus on my computer, make sure our backups are working, we have a new user at the office, new employee, just about anything that you can think of that is related to a computer. And voice over IP phone systems, which is an internet-based phone system. A lot of that going on nowadays, and people are switching from landlines to voice over IP systems. I do some cabling too occasionally. If you need a new Ethernet line run to a desk in your office, I dabble in that. I offer remote support. People can give me a call and I can remote into their computers, manage them, monitor them, all that kind of stuff, and servers. And the network servers are really my specialty area. That's my main focus. So if you have an IT room with switches and firewalls and servers and all that kind of thing, that's my forte. I'm a Microsoft certified small business specialist, which really speaks to the Microsoft server products that are out there. I deal primarily in Windows-based networks, so whatever that encompasses, whatever version of Windows you're running, I can be there and help out with that. And you can call me out of the blue and I can show up one time. We can set up a retainer plan, a monthly support plan, a remote monitoring and maintenance plan. I have a whole bunch of different options, and so it keeps me on my toes.
Seems pretty flexible as far as pretty wide array of things you can get done.
I've been at it for quite a long time, and I've learned a lot over the years of what people need and how to extract the information and get right to it, and get a resolution. People want their computers to be fast and reliable, and I focus a lot on backups too. That seems to be lacking sometimes in certain companies. I'm big on that because I've seen the results of not having backups, and that's a huge point for me. If your company is not backing up your data, give me a call.
Because that's one of those, you can lose a lot of work really quick.
Companies go under for that kind of stuff.
You lose
all your financial data from the last 10 years, or or whatever the case may be. It's it's a nuisance at best, and it's disastrous at worst.
Well, that's pretty cool. So let's get into a little bit. I like picking like one or two areas and
Sure.
kind of dive into that. So you mentioned voice over IP.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what that is, you mind expanding on that a little bit?
Traditionally, phone systems have been just regular telephone lines. You call Fairpoint or whoever the company is, and they install a big box called a PBX in your office, which allows you to transfer calls, have voicemail, all that kind of stuff. Now the trend is moving towards internet-based phone companies where you subscribe to the service and your phone system is hooked up to your network, and the data, the voice, all that travels through the internet. And it allows for far less
Go on, me.
far less infrastructure in your office, and more flexibility, less long distance charges, that kind of thing.
That's kind of cool. So, I mean, I know very little about tech. I'm not
Sure.
very good at any of this stuff. So how? Because I know a little bit about the IP address, and has that unique to like the building or to an office? I'm not.
Well, I deal with IP addresses constantly. There's two different types of IP addresses, and for the sake of simplicity, there's internal IP addresses and basically external IP addresses, WAN and LAN. So wherever your internet connection comes in, that's your actual internet-based IP address. Then each computer, each device on your network on the inside of the modem or however your internet's coming in, has an internal IP address as well. So, yeah, that's...
Okay, cool. So when you set up a phone line, you're essentially setting it up for just for like a whole office? Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different companies that offer the service, different features, that kind of thing. Comcast at the moment is offering a pretty good plan. They'll come in, they include the phones, the whole system, that kind of thing for a fair monthly rate. And you have an app on your phone. You can transfer calls to your phone, or on your cell phone. I mean, you can take business calls on your cell phone. It's all web-based voicemail. It emails you the message. You don't even have to be in the office at all, and it would seem like you are there. That's kind of one of the big advantages to the voice over IP is you can do it from anywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a neat thing. It's the regular old phone system, POTS lines, plain old telephone system. That's what it stands for. It's going by the wayside now, and everybody's kind of slowly migrating to voice over IP. Just because the features that you get with it, that you can't, it's no comparison, and the cost savings is huge too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you said the features. Like, what's kind of the big things that are the difference? Because I'm curious. Because eventually we'll be doing something like that anyway.
Well, like I mentioned, you don't have to be in your office to take any calls. Anything that would happen, no one would know the difference. You could be on the golf course or, out taking a hike and answer your cell phone just like it's coming from your business phone. A lot of people like the feature where if you get a voicemail, it's emailed to you. You listen to it right from your email on your phone.
Pretty cool.
You can set up all your office to just like an enterprise level phone system where auto attendance, call forwarding, to a receptionist and different extensions. With the internet-based phone lines, you can get unlimited DIDs, which is direct inward dial. So if you have 10 people with phones in your office, each one of them can have their own dedicated phone number.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. The list goes on and on. There's all kinds of different things you can really do with it.
Yeah.
And it's a neat thing.
Cool.
It requires a decent internet connection. That's one of the upgrades that oftentimes that you have to do is if if you're running off of a regular internet line, sometimes you'll add a second one or upgrade your service because, you know, it takes up bandwidth.
Yeah.
You know, bandwidth is the pipe that your internet uses, and it's only so wide.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's how much data can travel through it. So if you do a phone system, sometimes you have to enlarge that pipe.
I like that. That's pretty cool. Now, is it going to work the same way when everyone kind of moves to fiber? Is it going to be similar,
yeah. Fiber is really just the way the data travels through the internet, as opposed to copper. So fiber is much faster, obviously, and that's the bonus there. So if you're running a high-speed fiber line and you decide you want to go to a voice-over IP system, chances are you won't have to upgrade your internet. You'll already have the bandwidth required in many cases.
Yeah, that's cool, because that's kind of what because I know where I live, we can't do that, but I've been like itching to get my hands on
I know,
the fiber
everyone
line
is.
from my house.
It seems like everyone I talk to is not in that area yet, but yet millions of people actually are.
Yeah. Oh, I want it so bad.
Yeah.
Like, especially with what I do, that would make my life so much easier.
Right. You know, when I started doing this in 2002, DSL was just getting popular.
Yeah.
You know, people were still using dial-up phone, internet. And I remember when DSL first came out, and you know, the speed of your internet is measured in megabits per second.
Yeah.
And, you know, 768 megabits per second was huge back then, because you went from modem was a 56K.
Yeah.
And so that was just a huge improvement. And now, you know, at your house, people are getting 100, 200 megabits per second. You know, that's just, the speed of the internet has just gone insane.
Yeah, and then you step up again to fiber, and
you're
talking like gigs per second, or
Yep, gigabit per second.
Yeah, that's insane.
It is, yeah. I mean, you can go on, you know, different internet service providers' websites right now and order up a gigabit per second package, which is 1,000 megabits per second.
Wow.
And you know, people's appetite for bandwidth is insatiable. They eat it up, and speed is a huge thing. It's it's one of the number one complaints that I get from users at businesses is my computer's slow, my internet's slow. That's probably the number one complaint.
Yeah. I can see that, because especially in a day where we're just kind of used to going click and it changes.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for
right. No one wants to wait.
Back in the day when I remember dial-up.
Yeah.
And just you wait. Like, I'm going to go do something real quick, and
right.
come back, the page has changed.
Yeah, or even to get it connected.
yeah. With a little, the dial-up tune and all that stuff. Yeah. That's funny. So there was something else on there on your website that I saw that was kind of, I'm not very familiar with, and that's, you would mention cloud. So this comes up a lot.
Yes.
Because there's the internet, but they also talk about cloud stuff, and I think that probably confuses people, because I know I have no idea what it is.
Sure.
So do I?
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is one of the biggest trends in business data right now is cloud storage, cloud whatever. In essence, like the voice over IP thing that we were just talking about is a cloud-based service. Really, when you're speaking about cloud, what that really means is data travels through the internet to a server hosted somewhere off-site. So if you think way back to the days of the inception of the internet, AOL, you've got mail. Well, that was really one of the first cloud-based email services. Your data is not stored at your office. It's stored at on the servers at AOL, for instance, or Gmail now, or whoever you're using. The benefits to it are that your data is backed up at their servers, at their levels. Multiple levels of redundancy, different data centers all over the country, all over the world in some cases. And it also infrastructure based. You don't have to have your own in-house equipment, servers, that kind of thing. Speaking from a business level now, you could go out, if let's say you have 20 employees and you want your own, feature-rich email system. You could go out and buy a server like Microsoft Exchange and have an in-house system. Or now, Microsoft is really pushing what's called Office 365. Yeah. And that's basically a cloud-based platform for email, Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, that kind of thing. A whole host of other things, but those are the big ones. And it allows you to have all the features of an in-house server, in-house infrastructure, but you don't have to have any capital outlay for that. You just subscribe on a monthly basis to it.
Okay.
That's one of the big things about the cloud. In almost every situation, it's a monthly based subscription. And in most cases, it's also on a per user level. So, if you have 3 employees, Chris is $5 a month, Joe is $5 a month, that kind of thing. And, and then you get to 10 users, it might go down to $4 a month. But people like it because, you don't have to invest huge up front.
Yeah.
And the backup is a big thing. If you find yourself in need of an actual server for an application, maybe you're running, I don't know, QuickBooks or Sage or something like that, an internal software system to manage your accounting, or a line of business software system that requires a server. Now, cloud-based companies are also, farming that business out. So you don't even know the difference. You're on your computer, you think you're opening up QuickBooks, but you're really remoting into a server somewhere in who knows where, Texas or something like that. But you really, we're talking about the speed of the internet that's made all this stuff available now. With the increases, and it just looks like a program shortcut on your computer. You open it, and most people don't even know the difference, or most people aren't even able to grasp the difference that they're actually controlling a computer 2,000 miles away. It just seems like you're working right off your desktop. Have I confused you more?
No, I think I have a general idea what it is, but I know this confuses a lot of people.
It does, yeah.
And so
some people are really reluctant too, and I can respect that. It's I often tell the story, like I was saying about the AOL thing.
Yeah.
Cloud-based services have been out there forever. Since the inception of the internet. This is not a new thing. It's a new trend. In a lot of, there's a lot of new areas to it, but as far as the concept, it's not a new thing. It's how everything started, was cloud-based. And it kind of went to infrastructures. You go into data centers, and there would be, hundreds of servers, that kind of thing, and a huge IT department. And, not for nothing, but that does kind of kill guys like me in certain areas. But we've had to kind of migrate our offerings to help out with consulting on cloud-based systems, to work with these vendors to provide these companies with exactly what they need. It's interesting. I think it's a trend that's here to stay.
Yeah.
If you're worried about your data being stored somewhere else other than your office, I'm not going to say don't worry about it, but in most cases, if you're going with reputable companies like, let's say, Microsoft Office 365 to host your email and your files and that kind of thing, you really can't get any more secure, and you have far less worries about backups and losing data. And if something goes wrong, you're paying for that subscription through Microsoft. And I'm just using Microsoft as an example, but you're paying for that subscription through them. You give them a call and say, hey, get this fixed. My email's not working. My Outlook won't, I can't send an email. And they'll help you. Or you can, a lot of times, in fact, most companies that I deal with, they don't even want to deal with that. They'll call me to come in and deal with Microsoft.
Yeah.
They just, the thing about what I do is it enables business owners and employees of businesses to do their job, and I'll deal with the technical side of things. So that's often how it works out.
Cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So when you go into a company,
yeah,
what are you typically seeing them do wrong when it comes to this type of tech area?
Yeah. You got about a week? Well, but like we talked about backups, and I'm a big person about backups. If you're not backing up your data, if everything if you have one copy of your documents or your pictures, or whatever the case may be on your computer, then it's a huge risk. Mm-hmm. The hard drive on your computer dies, just from use, or you drop your laptop, it gets stolen, lightning strikes, things like that.
Yeah.
And everything that you have is gone. In some cases you can send out to a data recovery service, and that's insane money to do a data recovery, and there's no guarantee that they'll get anything back. In fact, the last 2 or 3 that I've had to send out, no data was retrievable. I've had people in tears over this kind of thing. I've also seen several times where people have lost their data, and then I tell them subscribe to a online based backup service, Mozy or Carbonite. You probably heard those ads. Reasonable price, I think $60-$70 a year for a huge amount of data. You just install it, it does everything for you, and your stuff is backed up. And then I get a call 6 months later, hey, this computer is dead now. All right, did you subscribe to that backup? No. Lightning does strike twice.
Yeah.
The other thing that we're constantly hearing about nowadays is internet security.
Yeah.
Viruses, all these crypto viruses now, which people, ransomware, they lock your files up. This virus attacks your computer. You get an email and it says, I don't know, could say anything, but someone will say, you get a UPS package, click to track it. And most people know not to click on links that they don't recognize, but sometimes they'll get them, and you click on this link and it brings you to this website, and next thing you know, every computer in your office is locked down, and the screen pops up saying, your data is encrypted, call this number, pay $5,000 to have it unencrypted. And people are getting whacked with that left and right. The antivirus companies that provide software to defend against these viruses, they're constantly playing catch up.
Yeah.
It's all signature based, meaning every morning you get an update, or sometimes several times throughout the day you get an update to your antivirus software. Well, those updates are based on what viruses have come out, and they've
the last couple of minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. The last couple of minutes, last couple of days, couple of weeks, depending on how long it takes them to find a cure, if you will, for that particular virus. So it's a cat and mouse game between the virus companies and the virus writers. And it used to be that viruses were written by people who hated Bill Gates, and there was no monetary gain. It was just really brilliant people who just wanted to mess with things.
Yeah.
Now it's big business. It's organized crime. It's it comes out of Russia, China, Brazil, all around the world. Those 3 countries are the top providers of viruses.
Yeah.
And if you with these ransomware viruses now, they will unencrypt your files if you pay their fee. You have to go on and do a Bitcoin transaction or a PayPal transaction, and it might be 500, it might be 5,000. You never know what it's going to be, but oftentimes that's the only way to actually get your company's data back, is to pay this ransom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a lot to worry about.
It is a lot to worry about. The internet is a scary place, and people are generally cognizant of it, but not maybe vigilant constantly to not click on these links. And that's what seems to get people, is a email link most of the time. That you'll get these emails that come in will say, maybe they'll say, change, your Gmail or your Microsoft password has been compromised. Click here to change it. And it looks completely legit. You go in, you click on it, and it brings you to a website that looks like Microsoft.com, looks exactly like it. And it says, okay, enter your username and your old password to change your new password. And you do that, and then what you've done is you've given these virus writers or hackers your login information to that account. And sometimes you don't even know about it, and then the next day or an hour later your email is hacked and they're using you to spam people, and there's a million different ways that they get you. If you click on a link from your email and it says it came from Microsoft, let's say, to tell you to reset your password or something to that effect. When you get to that website, if the website doesn't say Microsoft.com in the URL bar of your browser, whether you use Chrome or Internet Explorer or whatever the case may be, then you're not at Microsoft.com. That's a good tool to know that you're on the correct website that you think you are before you enter any information.
Oh yeah, and also just being aware of how these companies actually reach out to people is kind of a big thing.
It is,
because I even get this because I've done some things on Craigslist just to sell some normal stuff.
Sure.
And all of a sudden I get a text message and they're like, what Facebook needs, is your account's deleted. Click this link. And I'm like, well, that's not how Facebook reaches out to people. So delete, because I'm going to get 3 or 4 emails from Facebook on my other website, not from my phone.
Right, from some random number.
Yeah. And then you look at the URL, and I'm like, who's gonna fall for that?
Yeah,
the URL's
do.
way off, And so just be careful.
Yes. Another thing that happens, it's funny because my mother actually got caught by this. People, you'll go to a website or you'll click on a link or something, and a thing will pop up and it will say your computer is infected with a virus. And immediately, I get calls for this all the time. People don't realize exactly what their virus warning will look like from their antivirus software, or maybe they don't even have antivirus software on their computer. So there'll be a link and it'll say, or a phone number. It'll say, call Microsoft now, and people will call them. Say, oh yeah, you do have a virus. I can see it. Let me remote into your computer and we'll fix it for you. And so they remote in and they drop all kinds of viruses on it or whatever the case may be. Or they'll spend 15 minutes looking at the computer and they'll say, okay, it's going to cost you $199 to fix this. Give me your credit card number. And people give them the credit card number, and then the next day their credit card is maxed out and ordered $10,000 worth of stuff on Amazon or whatever the case may be. And it's really, really sneaky. People are getting hit by that constantly too. And it's, if you're not an internet savvy computer user, everything looks legit, know. I guess kind of one of the rules of thumbs to follow is, these companies will not reach out to you in those ways.
Yeah.
They won't say call and give you a credit card number, that sort of thing. Not these big internet-based companies like Microsoft, Gmail, whatever the case may be. Just like you said with Facebook, they're not going to reach out to you with some random text message. But they're tricky, and they're evolving constantly. As soon as something comes out to rectify a certain security issue, they're onto it. They're onto the next thing.
Yeah.
And nothing is infallible. You can spend zillions of dollars on security, and you can still get nailed. It's one of the risks out there, and you just got to do everything right. Browse the internet, smartly, and just be aware and just do the best you can, and kind of hope for the best. I mean, I hate to say that, but in a lot of cases, everybody, you see these Fortune 500 companies being hacked all the time. you hear about data breaches, credit card companies and whatnot, and they spend billions of dollars to get into them. But for the average company, the average home user, no one is targeting you like they're targeting these companies. And if you make it as hard as you can for these hackers or virus writers to get at you, if they're trying to just look at random people out there, easy access, easy targets, make yourself a hard target, and they'll move on to the next guy in most cases.
Yeah. Cool. So if people want to learn a little more, maybe reach out, schedule a service, how do they do it?
They can call me direct. My phone number is 603-748-1259. Check out my website, nhcomputers.com. Email me, Sean at nhcomputers.com, SEAN. Any of those ways.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to have the last word from our sponsors, and everyone have a good day. That's it for today, everyone, but it doesn't have to end there. Head over to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or iHeartRadio to get more from New Hampshire's top entrepreneurs.